Becoming a career and technical educator is a process that doesn't happen overnight. It takes years of hard work and dedication to reach the status of an impact teacher. That is, a teacher that is making consistent and meaningful difference to their students, their trade, and their community. However, it all starts by first earning your Interim Occupational Certificate, or what we call an I.O.C. So this video will highlight the steps necessary to earn your I.O.C. Stay tuned. Greetings. My name is Dr. Adam Manley, and I'm an Associate Professor of Career and Technical Education at Western Michigan University. If you're watching this video, it's because you're either interested in becoming a career and technical educator, or you've been recently hired as a career and technical educator and are now seeking your Interim Occupational Certificate. Earning your Interim Occupational Certificate is not a complicated process, but it does have multiple steps that need to be followed to successfully earn the Interim Occupational Certificate. First, let's start by what you need to bring to the table in order to even start the process of earning an Interim Occupational Certificate. You first must have a bachelor's degree. In addition to having a bachelor's degree, you need to have at the very least what's called a teachable minor in your content area. A teachable minor is a term that's used within our industry. Essentially what it means is that when looking at your transcripts, I as the advisor would be able to find 20 credit hours of courses that are related to the content area you've been hired or will be hired to teach. It's important to understand that you could actually be hired by a technical center to begin teaching without having a bachelor's degree. However, to earn the Interim Occupational Certificate, you would need to have a bachelor's degree with a teachable minor in your content area. Secondly, you have to demonstrate that you have at minimum 4,000 hours of work experience within the last 6 years, and the work experience must be related. Now, 4,000 hours equates to essentially 2 years of full-time work experience. However, you don't need to have 2 years of full-time work experience. You just need to have the number of hours that lead up to 4,000 hours. If you're seeking an Interim Occupational Certificate and you have yet been hired by a technical center, you would document those 4,000 hours through an educational institution such as Western Michigan University. So just to recap, all you need to really start the I.O.C. process would be 4,000 hours of related work experience and a bachelor's degree with at least 20 credit hours of related coursework in the discipline in which you've been hired to teach or wish to teach in. So hypothetically, let's say that you have the 4,000 hours of work experience and you have what you think would be a teachable minor in your career and technical education content area. Then the next step would be to locate a CTE teacher education institution that offers certification within your SIP code. In order to do that, the quickest way to do it is to Google Michigan Online Educator Certification System. When you get to this website, you will notice that there is an education preparation providers link. When you click on that link, it brings up the Office of Professional Preparation Services, and there's another link for programs. When you click on programs, you will get to the list of all the different SIP codes within career and technical education as well as other disciplines. Then you can find your particular SIP code. When you look for your SIP code, you will find that when you click on it, it will give you all of the different universities that offer certifications within that SIP code. Then you can start exploring all the options you have in Michigan regarding your particular SIP code certification. If you're fortunate enough to have options regarding the teacher education institution you can earn your I.O.C. from, I would suggest that you examine all those institutions as they all offer courses at different times and in different type of modalities. While each teacher preparation institution is set up a little differently, they all are going to require that you take at least 9 credit hours of career and technical teacher preparation coursework. The coursework will essentially consist of an overview of what is career and technical education and how we implement it in the public school system. And it will also probably include some classroom management and lab management strategies. In addition to completing the career and technical education coursework, you will also need to verify that you are CPR and First Aid certified by one of these institutions. In addition, it's important to note that it must be a hybrid course or a face-to-face course that you take. It cannot be a fully online CPR certification course. One of the last major steps in the Interim Occupational Certificate process is to pass the Professional Readiness Exam. The Professional Readiness Exam, or what we call the PRE, is a test over your reading, writing, and math knowledge. The Professional Readiness Exam is not a test to take lightly. Currently, the Professional Readiness Exam has about a 10% initial pass rate. What that means is that about 10% of the people that take it the first time will actually pass all 3 sections of the Professional Readiness Exam. Therefore, I highly encourage you to go on the Michigan Test for Teacher Certification website and look at the study materials they have, as well as the test blueprint, to make sure that you are ready to take this test. As a result of the low pass rate, the state has allowed test equivalencies to come into play. So I encourage you to go to this website and review your options regarding potentially not having to take the Professional Readiness Exam. In other words, if you scored high enough in certain sections of the SAT, ACT, or the Michigan Merit Exam, you may be exempt from certain sections of the Professional Readiness Exam. Also, while it might be confusing, certain non-passing scores, depending on the month in which you take it, may actually be passing scores. So I encourage you to also look at this website because it will help you understand if you actually passed the PRE even though it says you didn't. In addition to the Professional Readiness Exam, you may be required to take another Michigan Test for Teacher certification. If you are getting certified in business, marketing, industrial technology, or family consumer sciences, you most definitely will have a teacher test for those content areas. The other SIP code content areas may or may not require some type of test. All of them require something. Maybe it's a state licensure or it's a particular national certification. However, you will be required to show evidence of that. I highly encourage you to talk with your advisor at your CTE teacher education institution about what your SIP requires. Now, once you have met all the requirements of the Interim Occupational Certificate, you're going to have to apply for the IOC. In order to do that, you're going to go to the MOECS system website. There, you will follow the necessary steps to apply for the Interim Occupational Certificate. While each institution does it a little differently, I highly encourage you to talk with your teacher certification office or your advisor at your institution before doing this. Typically, they do an audit to make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row regarding the IOC requirements before you actually apply to the state. It's important to note that once you get your Interim Occupational Certificate, it's valid for 5 1/4 to 6 1/4 years, depending on the date of issuance. To progress to the next level certificate, which is called the Occupational Education Certificate, you will have to teach for 3 years under the validity of the IOC and complete 6 more semester hours of vocationally improved coursework in a planned program, or 150 of what we call sketches after the issuance of the initial interim occupation. You will also need to complete a diagnostic reading course that every teacher is required to take in the state of Michigan. So to recap, you need a bachelor's degree with at least a teachable minor within it in your content area. You need to have 4,000 hours of work experience in the last 6 years in the area in which you wish to teach. You need to have 9 credit hours of teacher preparation coursework completed. You would need to pass the Professional Readiness Exam and potentially a subject area exam. You will need to document that you are child and adult CPR and First Aid Certified. And when you're ready, you will need to apply to the state for your Interim Occupational Certificate. Well, there you have it. That's the Interim Occupational Certificate process. While I know it may seem daunting, I know for a fact that many teachers are able to get it done in a fairly short amount of time. And when you think about it, you're changing your entire career and now being tasked to make a difference in students' lives and your trade. In closing, I just want to thank you for becoming a career and technical educator. We need you. Thank you and good luck earning your IOC.